There's only one way to wake up in the morning.
How the heck are you?
Yep, that's it. Miller.
This could end the bro hug. That would be great for you because there is nobody worse at the bro hug than one David Moulton.
And Moulton.
I used to be. 2019, I found my bro hug group.
Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio.
All guests appear on the Goldberg Noon Abraham hotline. Goldberg-law.com.
Yes! Oh, I like it!
It's up to you now. It's up to you.
I like it!
Now, the best local sports show
You're
this
live.
town has ever heard. Here's Miller and Moulton.
How the heck are you, Miller and Moulton? On this Monday, the first one of April in 2020. How was your weekend? How you holding up? 3.5 weeks into America largely shutting down. We are Miller and Moulton, and this is Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio, streaming foxsportsfm.com, broadcasting live many a place, including the Miller and Moulton YouTube and Twitch channels. Mark, how are you on this Monday?
I'm good. Everybody, it's hit at different times. Yesterday was the first day in which absolute positive boredom set in.
That's pretty good. 3+ weeks in.
The wife and daughter basically just spent the entire day in pajamas. Never left. Really, made it out to the living room to go back to the bedroom for a nap type day. And I'm like, what the hell? And it was a little cloudy. It wasn't a great day. It wasn't this beautiful sunny day to sit by the pool. It was just one of those days that they were really lazy. And I'm like, what the hell?
Really? That was your attitude towards them with everything that's going on and or nothing going on? So they have a pajama party day and you looked at them like, come on, like what? Like we've got things to do, places to go, people to see? Really? I would think with you teaching all week, revolutionizing the Lee County schools, all right, putting your application in for a Golden Apple Award, which you've already done in just 2 weeks' time, I would think you would have enjoyed a pajama day.
Well, I did break down the curriculum for the next couple of weeks when I had a free second. But it was the day in which, because it wasn't, yesterday was kind of a dreary, cloudy, day.
You make it sound like a Seattle day.
No. But for Florida, it was. It was just kind of a nyeh. And they were doing their thing, and I was just bored. That's all.
Gotcha.
And I did something I don't normally do last night. I ruined dinner. So yesterday was a tough day for me.
Gotcha.
But that was the first day it hit. How about yourself? I know you worked all weekend. I know it was the wife's 50th birthday.
Yes.
So how was the birthday?
Well, Mark, we spent the whole weekend, pretty much from Thursday night, but certainly from after the show Friday. My wife spent a good chunk of the weekend going, we'd be in Vegas right now. And so I'm pretending that we're doing this. I'm pretending that we're doing that. My wife did that for as long as she could throughout the weekend. My wife was like, well, your daughter, about to turn 6. It was a pretend weekend for my wife. That's what it was. As for me ruining dinner, there was no chance of that. We consistently ordered out. Although the last 2 Saturday nights have become just finish what's in the cupboard type situations. Like a can of this and a little bit of that, and maybe we'll throw in a couple of eggs. And it reminds me of growing up with my mom, where we don't have the money to go out, and we don't have really anything good in the house, but we're staying in anyway. And so, I had a big can of beans, just beans.
No wonder you have your own room.
That was just, that was the main dish on Saturday. Just a big old can of beans, with a couple of things on the side. Yeah. So we're really We're really going to town. It doesn't help my cause that Dr. Birx over the weekend said that this week needs to be the week that you really don't go out. Because you know, Mark, I need one trip a day. I need one person that I can make eye contact with. No conversation needs to take place. We can be 8 to 10 feet apart. I need to hit one drive-through a day so that America still feels like it's normal to me.
After I ruined dinner last night, I looked at my wife and we put our daughter to bed because she got the leftover chicken burrito made quickly, and we had salad. And that wasn't enough for me. And I looked at her, I said, we've got two choices. It's either whiskey or Culver's. So I'm either going to the bottle right now or I'm going to get ice cream. And she voted for ice cream. So my interaction last night was at the drive-thru. And while I was in line, a particularly good song came on. So the volume went up, and I was playing a little, not even air drums, real drums, little rhythm going on. And I actually noticed out of the corner of my eye, the boredom of the Culver's drive-thru staff is the one guy there. He kind of had the head bob, and it's like, wow, cool.
Sure.
Music. I've been inside this place for 6 hours going absolutely bananas. And any music that has any rhythm right now is better than the silence because we're done talking to one another. We all hate each other at this point in the day.
Yes, I'm going to hold off giving you your food just so I can listen to a little bit more music.
Yep.
Or I can give you your food, but you need to not go anywhere for a little bit. I don't care what the little delivery time thing says. Don't care if we get yelled at.
So I have been walking to try to keep this fat body somewhat in shape. And I don't run because it just bangs up my knee. So I've been going for long walks, like hour and a half, hour and 20-minute walks.
Wow.
And I decided on Saturday it was time to break free and leave the gates of the neighborhood and go walk what I like to refer to as the hills of Estero. By the hills of Estero, what I mean is Estero Parkway over I-75 to Ben Hill Griffin.
Gotcha.
That's the tallest point in Estero. I'm not sure if you're aware of that. The overpass into the other side of Estero. In fact, we're almost getting into Fort Myers there because for whatever reason that university's in Fort Myers. But when you cross the hills of Estero there, I did my walk yesterday and saw 5 people, 2 co-eds, 1 guy running, and 1 couple. What you have to do when you're on the sidewalk on Ben Hill that I noticed, because I was on the right side when I saw the couple coming at me. Well, they've got a hill to their left. I've got flat ground. I got to go way off the sidewalk to give them their 6 feet.
Gotcha.
You got to make that move. And then you just wave. No talking, no nodding, just a wave. And that seems to be enough for everybody. A smile and a wave from people seems to be enough, David.
Well, yeah. I mean, we don't really know one another. We don't really want to know one another. But it's nice to see that you're alive. I'm alive. We seem to be doing okay, right?
But we
There's
can't
a wave. You keep on going.
Yeah, we can't stop and talk to one another. That could be bad. Wave, keep moving.
Exactly. One thing I'd like to throw out there, you might want to refer to it as the hill of Estero, not the hills.
Fair enough.
Because I don't think standing on top of the speed bumps count.
Fair enough. I went over and back. I guess that's why I said hills.
No, just hill. That's all. You just did it twice.
Can I call it Mount Estero?
You could, actually. You could definitely call it Mount Estero. I like that. Here's when you know that you're a slug. When you encounter the same couple walking once in the morning, once in the afternoon, and you are standing on your lawn with your dog, waiting for your dog to take care of its business both times. I mean, the couple and I both chuckled at one another when we saw each other the second time. I looked at them like, look at the two of you. You guys are really accomplishing something. 6 hours later, you're walking again. Good for you. I'm standing here with the English Bulldog. That's it. In almost the exact same spot that you saw me 6 hours ago. Yes. So that's about how far we're walking, Mark. We don't even get off the property. My wife hasn't left the house in 3 weeks. Not at all. Has not left the property. I'm the one responsible for taking the car and driving it to make sure that her car, at least once a week, the engine turns over and, we drive it for a couple of miles. I'll listen to a good 10 minutes of radio and then, pull it back in. There you go. The car's taken care of. It's now my job. We should have an over-under. I think we all know one person who has not left their cozy confines in nearly 3 weeks. And you should have an over-under on when it is they'll leave their property.
Okay? Oh, the only person I know that has not left their property is your wife.
Really? I know someone who actually goes about 9 days before my wife.
Wow.
Actually, has been a full month without leaving their property. Yep. And I don't know if they'll leave their property before Memorial Day. I mean, honestly, but that's just something to consider, an over-under as to the person that you know in your life who started, not only distancing but self-quarantining essentially, the earliest, and when it is you think that person will leave their property. Because I consider if you go, you're on the lanai, you're on the front lawn, that sort of deal. But I'm talking about, getting the car back out of the driveway even. They're going somewhere to run an errand. They're going to pick up food. Just that person, we all know one, that took this the most seriously from the beginning. And, for me, that's my wife.
For me, it's your wife.
Yep.
There's nobody, and I'm not joking, still to this day, I don't know anyone else that's in her ballpark. Now, I know people have been safer, like you obviously said, the one person who started before your wife. I know of nobody that is taking this as seriously as your wife. And I'm not saying that other people aren't taking it seriously. I just don't know anyone who, from the get-go, took it as seriously and has maintained that throughout. That would be your wife to me.
Yep. My wife's had the attitude of an axe murderer approaching this. And so it's been very pleasant around here. I will say that. Been very lighthearted. Been very pleasant. Yeah. We
did give our neighbor a mask yesterday because Eve had an extra one. So we did give Maureen on the other side. She got a mask. She was pretty fired up about that. I mean, I will say that's the point we've gotten to of the seriousness. And obviously, the White House suggested over the weekend that people, or at least it's been talked about wearing masks out. I think it largely, but the fact that people.
Could be the poll question, by the way.
Would you or are you? Because I have not seen, I've seen very few. I mean, I've seen people wearing masks up, but when I'm out, David, would you say it's in the less than 10%?
No, it's a little more. This weekend, it's been a little more than that, but it hasn't been above 25%. I will say this. Now, a bit of it is, my wife's pretty fanatical about this, but my grandmother who just passed, she had a scarf, and my wife wanted it. So we have it. And so when I went to pick up food last night, because, we don't cook, and I believe in contributing to the economy as much as possible, that my wife said, here, take the scarf. So I don't know if I looked like that really cool, this is my Roger Moore, impression when I was walking into the pizza place, because I had a scarf around my neck, which I then put over, flipped over my face, for about 30 seconds. Or I don't know if I look like a cartoon, like right out of the Peanuts.
B.
All right, that's all. So I don't know whether or not I was, fresh out of the catalog or I was fresh out of the cartoon, one or the other. But Mark, I mean, of all the pictures that you want of me, me with the scarf, we could probably make that happen here in the coming days. So, but I have seen, went to Jersey Mike's, and there was a couple, they both had masks on, and, this particular, apparently with that store, they have places for you to stand. They're all 6 feet apart. You're only, no more than 6 people are allowed in the store at any period of time, so, I mean, I've seen it more and more. I've seen, when I went grocery shopping last week, there was a couple that at one point I turned into the aisle, and they were about 15 feet ahead of me. They both had masks on. I'm
not disagreeing with you. That's. I mean, you said I didn't go out this weekend, so if this weekend it jumped from 1 to 10 to 1 and 5, then or 1 and 4, that's pretty big. But when I've been to the grocery store, I've seen people with masks on, but it's been far less than 1 in 10. That's all I'm saying. I'm just wondering, my wife's friend is making them. And a lot of people are making them, and you've seen things on social media, whether homemade masks works or not. But she has bought whatever the proper thing is that she sews into it, the actual carbon whatever, So I actually said, get me one. I want one. More than anything, I think I just want to wear a mask once in a while.
Well, I do think it could be a way for us to express a little bit of our personality. Will we draw on the outside of the mask at all? Will we draw, I don't know, whether it just be colors, whether it be our favorite team's, emblem. It could be a way to express a personality. If this is going to go on long term, I could see, maybe Fathead selling them. To be honest, there's probably some profit in this. But my mom's a retired nurse, and she has masks. She has access to masks. And
right.
There's a part of me though that doesn't want, because those are the good masks, and in theory, that's the stuff that the hospital workers they need. We don't necessarily need one as good as that. And there's a part, even though it's not like these masks are going to the local hospital in Jersey where my mom lives, but there's a part of me that hesitates to have her send us a couple, because I don't know if I want to be outside with a really good mask. I don't want people looking at me like, hey, what are you taking supplies away from the hospital?
Yeah, David, I'd wear one of those, because I think largely the other ones that people are wearing don't work.
Okay.
I don't know what to tell you.
I have to admit, Mark, there's a part of me, you see, like, I don't know how much television, news anyway that people are watching, but there are certain people now as part of the network news, because in other parts of the country it's still winter, and they've got the jackets and they've got their big scarves, and it covers up their neck. And I don't mean like the Dr. Burke's scarf indoors. I'm talking about the outdoor scarf, and they have it above their jacket, covering up their necks and all that. That's the type of scarf that I have from my grandmother. And for the most part, like I said, my wife has the scarf, but she threw it at me. I needed this when I went to pick up the pizza, apparently. And I will say, Mark, it's probably going to be my fashion thing now going out. Like when I go out for lunch today, I think I'm taking the scarf.
I'd rather see, it's kind of like, it's the war mascot, so whatever you need to do, I like it.
Right.
I just know that, I did come from the north as you did, David, and I did wear a scarf when I was a kid to school. And I know on those cold days, you could clearly see the air going right through the scarf. Clearly. You'd blow out, and you would see the moisture come out. Hence, that's not really working. That's all.
But it's the fashion, Mark.
Now,
Okay.
David, for
It's
fashion,
the
no. Totally different. You want to make a fashion statement? Put the damn thing over your head for all I care. Tie it in a knot.
I've got the Robin Williams character that he created as the morning DJ in Good Morning Vietnam. I have that in my head. When I go out wearing Grandma's scarf, that's what I have in my head.
Oh, yes. Don't try that this morning. I hope everybody can remember when he went to his fashion consultant and had a voice for that. But that's a little too high-pitched for your Broadway to try to pull off at 619, David. That's all I'm saying.
I will.
I can see the hands rubbing. I see that you want it. I know that you want it. I know that deep down inside you want it. And, David, I'm telling you, I don't know if you can pull it off this morning.
When you go outside, I cannot see you.
I knew it. I knew you couldn't get through without a line. The hands were going too fast back and forth together. I thought you were going to start a fire in there.
Instead of camouflage, why don't you wear like bright colors and stripes? And this way I can see you.
We've got a pretty good little show lined up.
We really do.
For this Monday, April 6th. I quit trying to pay attention to what day.
Right. With nothing going on, this is a pretty good little show.
With something going on, it's not a bad little show. We have Ben Blessing on the show. He is the Executive Vice President of Marketing for Blue Emu. He does not stink, but he thinks Bubba Watson does.
Bubba Wallace.
Bubba Wallace, rather.
Bubba
Wallace.
Not the golfer.
Well, he probably thinks Bubba Watson stinks too. Who's kidding who?
No,
but
you think Bubba Watson stinks. He thinks Bubba Wallace stinks.
He may think
Bubba
the other one
Wallace
stinks
is
too.
a NASCAR driver.
But Bubba Wallace crashed yesterday, or Clint Boyer crashed.
Yeah, Bubba crashed Clint Boyer, and then shortly thereafter, Bubba Wallace quit the E-race, the I-race, the simulated race, whatever it is, and he lost a sponsor because of a simulated race.
Because after Boyer gets crashed by Bubba, who is a very, reckless is the wrong word, very aggressive driver, David?
He is very popular, though. Popular
Oh,
driver.
no, he's very popular. Driving Petty's car, but he likes to run into people. He's got a little...
But this is a simulator race. You've got guys here who don't... I mean, they're the best drivers in the world, and they admit, I have no idea what I'm doing. I just want to participate.
Right. So, Boyer gets hit by Bubba and gets crashed.
Right.
And Boyer
Correct.
quickly says, I got Bubbaed.
I got Bubbaed.
Well, Bubba didn't like that. And Bubba said, that's why you guys take this blank seriously, threw off his headset.
Yeah, he rage quit.
And quit.
That's what they call it.
He did what John Cassio would do in a Madden game against my son at halftime.
Correct. First time he was losing to your son, he rage quit.
He
Correct.
rage quit. That's exactly what he did. Find the 7-year-old in your life. That's what Wallace did. And his sponsor, watching it, sees it and goes, bull blank, and fired him. I'm not paying that guy a cent.
Yep.
And he fired him. So we will have the VP of Marketing from Blue Emu, Ben Blessing. I am fired up for this interview. He doesn't stink, but Bubba does.
Sure does. Yeah. Olivier Knox.
Yes. Chief
Yep.
DC correspondent for Sirius on the Trump meeting with all of the sports commissioners that took place on the weekend.
Simulcast with a dozen of them. Not only that, it was all the commissioners from all the major sports, although the NCAA was not represented in any way, and Mike Francesa. Yeah. 12 commissioners and Mike Francesa, sportscaster in New York City. Yes, he was part of the
didn't even know what 11 of those sports were.
Okay. So
Manfred here. Is Manfred here? We got everything we need taken care of. Who's the Yankees starting pitching?
Apparently, once again, it's good to be friends with the president. All right, yeah. If we're talking sports, get Francesa on the line. I need my buddy Francesa. So it was the president, it was Kellyanne Conway, Mike Francesa, oh yeah, and the commissioners of all the major sports leagues except the NCAA.
Vince McMahon there, NCAA not there.
Correct. Now, I will say, if you think about it, all right, the NCAA does not run football. I mean, they run D2, D3 football, but they do not run Division I football. To have football represented, you would have had to have had the 5 Power 5 commissioners on board. So I don't think it should not be as bad a look as some believe it is, that the NCAA was not there, in my opinion. And speaking of college football, Brett McMurphy from Stadium, who will join us in the final half hour of the show. And we will get his perspective on, whether or not the sport's going to happen this year, and if so, whether it will happen on time. You had Dabo Swinney over the weekend who said, we're going to start on time. We're going to start with the stands full. And you had the former president of Kansas State who said, yeah, I don't see a season happening this year at all. So there you have it. The two extremes. We'll talk to Brett McMurphy about the 2020 college football season near the end of this show. Miller and Moulton. On this first Monday in April. This would have been National Championship Monday, Mark.
Yeah, Lenardi has Michigan State and Florida State playing tonight.
Oh, man.
I'm not happy. I've paid no attention to any of the simulated crap. And at some point yesterday morning, I look on Twitter and I see Michigan State against Florida State. And I went, really? Really? That's the game you're giving me?
You know, between Dayton and Florida State, I might have rode those two to meet in the championship game if we had had real brackets. Miller and Moulton. 25 minutes past the hour. Hope you and yours are safe and doing okay. And we thank you for inviting us into your life and letting us spend a few minutes with you here on Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio.